Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Discussions. Yes, another week has gone by. It is Saturday, May 28th, 2011, and guess what? We're still here. We're still here to do another very informative, very educational, and very entertaining show. Despite what Harold Camping said, he was wrong again. I think this is for the, was it the third time?
At least the second time.
At least the second time, because he was wrong before. But now, of course, Mr. Camping does what I predicted he will do. Oh, after he came out of hiding for embarrassment. Oh, I guess I made another miscalculation. Oh, gee. Oh, hey, don't pick on me. I'm just a humble servant of the Lord, and I am a very old man. I'm almost 90 years old. Don't pick on me. I made a miscalculation. I guess I'm only human. Oh, the real end. Everything's going to happen consolidated into one day. Probably the end of the world and the rapture in one day. What is it? December 20... October 21st, 2011. And this way I will make tons more money. I will make God knows how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars more from my foolish, stupid lemming followers that will continue to send me money.
Especially that woman.
Because they're idiots until October 21st, 2011.
Especially the woman who killed her kid.
Excuse me, one of Camping's followers?
Yeah.
Murdered.
Well, I don't know if she was a Camping follower, but she killed her kid because she felt that it would be left behind in the rapture.
So she murdered her child.
Yeah.
Do you see how crazy these people are, these right-wing fundamentalists?
What about Jim Jones and the 900 people?
Let me establish who they are. Right-wing fundamentalists, holy roller, Christian nuts, religious nuts. Maybe some of them are the so-called born-agains that you hear about, you know, that are so sure that they're saved. Excuse me while I put on my reading glasses. But it's preposterous. It's I think I'm gonna title this week's discussion as Cuckoo Camping Update. I just thought that had a nice ring to it. You know, as in cuckoo bird. You know, ding cuckoo, ding cuckoo. Cuckoo Camping Update. And what a real Christian will do. And the reason why I'm saying that is you'll find out. Let's start off a little light. Let there be light. No, let's start off a little light. Kim Kardashian, the very rich beauty queen with the rather curvaceous and ample buttocks, or otherwise known as gluteus maximus.
As Gary Knowles says, her only claim to fame is her ass.
Yeah. Speaking of ass, I felt like an ass last week with my right collar folded over because a certain someone did not tell me my collar was folded over. I apologize to all my fans and loyal viewers. How do my collars look this time? Are they okay? Are they okay?
They're buttoned down.
They
can't be.
Well, they were buttoned down last week, but they're not.
Well, how the hell does a button-down collar get unfolded?
It was folded this way last week, and nobody told me. You see what I got to work with here at the newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. Anyway, they look okay now, Jabroni?
Yes.
Okay, good. Kim Kardashian and her ample butt, she got engaged recently, and her engagement ring, lo and behold, a 20-carat engagement ring, cost $2 million, which is half the cost, from what I understand, of her mansion. Now, for those of you that are unaware, the jewelry industry, the fine jewelry industry, is one of the biggest rip-off industries in the corporate American scene in the United States, in our wonderful capitalist system. It's a huge ripoff, because they sell you the fine jewelry at astronomical prices, but then, let's say a few years or several years down the road or longer, you wish to resell it, they want to give you next to nothing for it. They make excuses like, oh gee, I can't give you that much because your diamonds have too many flaws in them, too many inclusions. They're not high quality enough to pay what your ring was appraised for. And did you know that the De Beers diamond mine in South Africa deliberately holds back on the exportation of mined diamonds because there are so many diamonds in the world, raw diamonds, that if they exported them as they were mining them, they won't be precious stones anymore.
Price would fall.
Yeah. And when the commercial says a diamond is forever, what it really means is the profits are forever for the company like De Beers who mines them. The profits are forever. Okay. There you go. How young, wealthy America just pisses away their money. 20 carats, the poor schmuck. And with California law, from what I understand, Kim Kardashian does not have to give back the 20-carat engagement ring. Stop me if I'm wrong, but there's a California law that says, well, when you receive an engagement ring, that's a token of marriage, of a promise of marriage. You're engaged.
It's a gift.
It's not a gift like a birthday gift. It represents the fact that you're going to get married to the other person. And if the marriage doesn't take place, it's only fair that the woman give back the ring that the man paid for, because you're not going to get married anymore. So I think by law, it's a promise of marriage. Anyway, it's a ripoff. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger's love child. Why do they call it a love child? They should call it a lust child, because the love child is usually...
Why blame the child?
Born as an accident. A slip-up. Oops, one of my spermatozoa happened to make the swim.
Well, why blame the child in any sense at all?
Yeah, to call an out-of-wedlock accidental pregnancy, otherwise known as getting knocked up, to call it a love child is stupid. It's out of lust. It's not out of love. And now, from what I understand, the child might not be Arnold's. Why don't they just do a paternity test and get it over with? DNA. Just get it over with. And now there is a possibility that this Mildred Pena is just trying to scam wealthy, famous Arnold Schwarzenegger. She's trying to jump on the Arnold Schwarzenegger gravy train there, and she's trying to scam him. So I say do the paternity test pronto. Do it. And make sure everyone knows the results before, any money changes hands. Before Arnold...
I don't know what difference it's going to make, because he's been paying all these years for the child.
Maybe she pulled a big scam, a big Bernard Madoff on him.
Nah.
So
if anybody's scamming anybody, it's Arnold.
Well, it looks like his kid. Has the same jaw, the same smile, same missing space between his teeth, the same hair texture.
They always blame the victim.
What do you mean, the victim?
Well, in rape, they blame the victim.
No, it's not. No,
in
that's rape.
In the lust child situation, you're blaming the victim.
Well, she's a gold digger. Mildred Payne.
How do you know she's a gold digger?
Because he has the gold and she dug it.
How do you know that? He didn't use his power to get what he wanted.
You mean like flirt with her and then tell her if she didn't have sex with him that she would get fired?
Yeah. Whatever.
You know what? You a very smart man, right. Reverend Dr. Bill. You are very smart. You probably...
We have a very... It's one of the problems with conservatives, is they're always voting for Republicans who are ass-kissers for corporations, and poor people are voting for them. And then when poor people say, "Hey, you make more money than me. I should go against you."
So it's automatically Mildred Pena's fault because she's She's part of the world's poor. She's a housekeeper.
Yeah.
How much could a housekeeper make, especially working for a conservative Republican politician? She was probably getting bare minimum. And right away, the Republican, like you said, blames the little person.
Yeah.
You know,
Actually, the little persons blame other little persons.
Yeah. Well, according to her breast size, she's not that little, but that's another story. But listen, guaranteed Mildred Pena will be getting offer after offer after offer.
She'll write a book.
Books, talk shows. She'll get her own show, maybe on Latin TV.
On Oprah's new channel.
Yeah. Guaranteed. Look at that. What's her name? Rachel Yucatel, the ex-call girl, mistress, whatever you want to call her, of Tiger Woods. She became famous because of Tiger Woods. You know, if you're infamous in the United States, infamous, you make a lot more money and you become a lot more successful than some nice schmuck, you know. But anyway, is that what the word shill means, by the way? When you are a like ass-kissing representative of somebody who's paying you off?
Yeah.
Is that what the word shill means?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, back to Harold Camping. I was thinking the other day, and you know, it made a lot of sense to me. All these people, all these foolish, idiot, crazy, lunatic lemmings that gave Harold Camping lots of money and helped him build a $117 million ministry. All these fools that follow Camping and who will probably continue to follow Camping, even though he keeps on making miscalculations and he continues to be wrong. And if these people boast about being, you know, real, genuine, devoted Christians, why don't they do something that is really Christian, that is really a sign of being a devoted Christian? Instead of giving the snake oil salesman Harold Camping all that money, like the idiot that spent like $140,000, $150,000 of his own money to put up billboards, why don't they just donate it to a real, worthy, compassionate charity, like, let's say, the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, terminally ill children, or feeding the homeless, or feeding poor kids in Africa, starving children that go to bed hungry, dying of malnutrition, desperately need medical care, helping out these poor kids in third world countries like maybe Central America and Africa. There you go. There's a Christian thing to do. Mother Teresa did many Christian things when she was alive. Why can't these followers of evangelists and Harold Camping and Joel Osteen's and Pat Robertson's, instead of donating money to a bunch of false prophets, do something really Christian? Show that you're a real Christian. Donate it to a worthy charity. Donate it to starving poor kids that have no medical care, live in squalor, live in filth, you know, third world countries, Africa, like I said, Central America, whatever. The victims in Japan, perhaps. Okay, so what is your take on that about doing good works as a Christian, as opposed to bragging that you're a real Christian and giving it all to some false prophet? I'm done with this, by the way.
I have a different take on that. That would ruin the setting up of the institutions or the companies that you're talking about that want to deal with that situation. My take is that if you're going to take care of the poor, then you take care of the poor directly.
Oh, yeah.
Individually.
Not paying so-called administrative fees like the United Way telling people that their administrative fees are like, what is it, like 75%, or unless it was 40%. No, it was very high. Yeah. They were saying that most of the charities given, most of the funds given to the United Way, the primary percentage of it had to go to administrative fees.
That's correct.
So for those of you that know the exact amount, email me email us and let me know. But from what I understand, it was close to 2/3 of the charity money had to go to this mysterious administrative fees. You know what? As a compassionate giver to a charity, the person who gives, okay, it's not your problem that you have administrative fees. It's not your problem. It's not their problem that they need to maintain these jobs, you know, where these people that work for charities should be donating their time in a charitable way and not getting jobs and getting paid for their volunteer work to a charity cause. It's not our problem. The people that give, it is not our problem that you have to have an office with paperwork and employ people. Oh no, you're supposed to donate your time. It is called a charity, and 100% of the donated money should be given directly to the suffering people and the poor. And that goes for, you know, I heard Salvation Army takes all the donated clothes and furniture and whatever, and they turn around and sell it. They turn around and sell this donated used items to the poor when the poor should be getting it for free.
Don't you remember those big boxes over there by Pathmark?
Yeah.
That you throw in the old clothes and things?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
The like Goodwill Industry kind of bins. The bin. Yeah, but but they're.
And some of those charities, as you say,
Yeah.
charities. I don't call them charities, but some of them actually only give 5% of their take to the particular charity that they work for or whatever.
Interesting.
5%. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It should go 100%. Prove that you're a real Christian. That's what I'm trying to say. Works. I mean, the repentance and the, salvation and all the repenting and everything is one thing, but without the works, you're just a hypocrite. That's the way it seems to me.
We have plenty of those, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're called right-wing
conservative Republicans.
Republicans. Yeah, right-wing conservative Republicans. And Arnold is one of them, and Pat Robertson is one of them, and Harold Camping. He definitely sounds right-wing to me, right-wing fundamentalist. But right-wing fundamentalists, holy roller, religious nuts do not really donate their money to help the poor. You notice, there's no talk about all the nice things that these evangelists have done for the poor. Not even in this country. Not even for the poor homeless, or the veterans that have to live in a damn tent, which is absolutely despicable.
Well, you see, that's why they're changing the Bible, because they don't like all the Bible scriptures and everything that say take care of the poor.
They want to
They want to
generate.
make them more conservative friendly.
Yeah, you mean a get way of life?
Yeah.
Instead of a give way of life.
Yeah.
Me. It's all about me.
Yeah.
All right, the first article, you might as well, if you find it.
We'll be continuing with Mr. Camping.
We might as well exhaust the camping, since the title of the video will probably be, unless I come up with I doubt it, but it'll probably be Cuckoo Camping Update, and I just thought it was cute the way it sounded. But anyway.
Oakland, California. The doomsday campaign is over. Harold Camping says.
And we're still here.
No more millions will be spent on TV and radio commercials.
Wait a minute. This is what he said. We'll see.
No more flyers will be handed out.
They'll be going in his pocket this time.
The 20 RVs plastered with the Judgment Day message are off the road.
Yeah, right.
The 5,000 billboards predicting the end of the world would happen May 21 are coming down.
So where is all this money going? Gee, I wonder.
After all, Camping said, the world already knows when the rapture is coming, and it's May 21, as he adamantly insisted for months that it would be. Now, It's October 21. Camping said that the rapture would begin last Saturday, and despite no physical indications that it did, he maintains he was right. It was just his understanding of what it would look like that was wrong, he said.
What a spin doctor he is.
God, as Camping described it, Monday night, in his first appearance since his failed prediction, began judging earthly churches on the same May date in 1988, going as far as to enlist Satan to rule over them. That was so people thinking they'd be saved in a church after that would be out of luck.
Yeah.
That ended, Camping said, on the September date in 1994. See, now he's gelling everything together now, you see.
He's creating
in chronological order.
He's creating his own red thread.
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to weasel out of his blunder. Boy blunder.
He'd predicted at that time.
Oh my gosh.
Excuse me.
This old man is unbelievable. How rich does this old bastard geezer have to be, man?
As for last Saturday, regarded in many circles as Camping's second swing and a miss,
yeah, right.
That was more of a spiritual rapture than a physical one.
Oh, I knew he was going to do this. I knew it.
Placing humanity and the entire world under God's judgment. Camping called it an invisible judgment day.
This guy's slick. He may be 90 years old, but he's slick. I have to give him credit for that. He is the Bernard Madoff of the religious world. I was right. This guy is fucking slick.
The physical one, he said, the cataclysmic cracking of the earth.
Cataclysmic.
That's what I said.
You said cataclysmic.
Cataclysmic.
All right, I'm sorry.
Cracking.
Cracking.
You
like,
see, I heard the both of them together.
Like me Blackthorn Shillelagh imported from Ireland. Cracking.
Cracking.
Cracking. Cracking.
Violent quakes.
Aye.
And the burning death of millions.
What about the exhumed corpses from all the graves throughout the entire world?
Is still on the way.
Oh,
5 months from now.
He's better than a politician, Camping. He's slick.
That's when he says.
He's cuckoo, but he's slick.
200 million Christians will be taken directly to heaven.
Like Superman. Fly up there, right?
Of course, the Bible says 144,000.
Like a big Auric vacuum cleaner or a Dyson vacuum just sucked up there, really. He's very, you know what? I think Satan is working through Harold Camping, because how could he be so friggin' slick to weasel out of this mess like he's doing?
An angel of light.
Think about it, people. Think about it. You heard it first here on Discussions. Think about it. He's crazy, but he's crazy like a fox. He's slick. You see the excuses he's coming up with? It's better than I originally thought it would be. Better.
Speaking at the headquarters of Family Radio International, Camping acknowledged that he's misunderstood the importance of each date. But he said he's completely sure this time, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
As he was last time. As for the people who took him at face value, Camping offered an apology for his own misunderstanding, saying last weekend was a very difficult time for me. So much so that when his doomsday message did not come true, he left his home and took refuge with his wife in a motel.
Motel?
Where they watched TV and prayed.
Boy, he really hit out. He went to a motel with all his money, the cheap bastard. You know what? The white horse of the apocalypse, the false prophet. Maybe Family Radio is one of Satan's branch offices.
I would say so.
I want to apologize for this asshole that's doing landscaping outside. If you happen to hear a sound like that, like yeah, 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 I like to crack him over the head with my fucking shillelagh. But try to raise your volume, please, until this idiot stops manicuring his property.
Nothing.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Regarding anyone who's destitute after giving away worldly possessions in preparation for the rapture, Camping had this to say: people cope.
People cope. He has more excuses.
Well, that was,
then
a very Christian attitude?
I could think of.
People cope.
People will cope. People will get over it, pretty much. Should I go out there and hit this guy right now or what? Unbelievable. Maybe it's Satan trying to sabotage the show. Anyway, what do we got there?
I have more on Camping, but I just want to make sure that we haven't, exhausted everything here. But Camping said he's now realized the apocalypse will come 5 months after May 21. Okay, we did that. It's not the first time that the independent Christian radio host has been forced to explain when his prediction didn't come to pass. Rather than give his normal daily broadcast on Monday, Camping made a special statement before the press at the Oakland headquarters of the media empire that has broadcast his message. His show, called Open Forum, has for months headlined his doomsday message via the group's radio stations, TV channels, satellite broadcasts, and website. The man's into everything here.
He's on cable TV, radio, 24/7, and he's spending the money, all that money, to misguide and lie to the world when he could be feeding poor children, poor starving children, and giving medical attention, getting medical attention to them in third world countries. He could be doing something really Christian, feeding the homeless, and good food, not that shit that the pantries, that the food pantries provide.
Apocalyptic thinking has always been part of American religious life and popular culture. Still, the overwhelming majority of Christians reject the idea that the exact date or time of Jesus' return can be predicted. Tim LaHaye, co-author of the best-selling Left Behind novels about the end times, recently called Camping's prediction not only bizarre, but 100% wrong.
That's for sure.
Now, I think maybe, just for the hell of it, later, when I pull out my Bible, maybe we might just look at Matthew 24 and maybe read the whole thing and then get up to Matthew 24:36, which conveniently says that no man knows the time of his coming except the Father.
And some of the quotes in the Bible come right from Jesus' mouth about the end and how it will go down.
Well,
right?
Of course, that's Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and Revelation Day and Daniel 11. That there are certain chronological events that must occur before the end. And none of these chronological events occurred.
None of them
before May 21.
None of them have taken place yet, so we're not even in the tribulation yet.
Yeah, we're not in a World War III. Jesus will come in the middle of a World War III.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What's more unbelievable are the people who follow him and continue to send him money.
What's more unbelievable is on his family radio, they have a section or a segment that deals with Bible reading. And obviously,
Bible study. Yeah,
Bible study. And obviously, it can't be that they've never read these scriptures.
Yeah. Well, I bet. Hey, I bet Chris Christie's happy that Harold Camping and Arnold Schwarzenegger are taking attention away from him. Well, he might not be happy. Well, negative attention. He's happy about that. I'm too busy to slant.
I believe it's Fox News. Roger Ailes or whatever.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Christie to run.
Yeah, because he's a perfect poster boy for Republicans. He's obnoxious, he's rude, he's greedy. You know, he's fat, and you know, he's like obese, like he wants to hog food to himself and let the poor starve, you know, and he just has a good conservative personality.
Yeah, and he's already done that. I mean, he's taken money from food pantries in New Jersey. He's taken money from women's health issues, schools.
And
yeah.
Shit. I almost went backwards. No compassion coming from Balloon Boy Chris Crisco Christie. No compassion at all. So he's the perfect poster boy for 2012 for the Republican Party. What better leader could they possibly have than Chris Christie? You know, he's you take a selfish, greedy Republican like the Weeper of the House, who's kind of mild-mannered, you know, and then you make a meanie out of him and blow him up by a few hundred pounds, and you have Chris Christie.
Well, you know, meanness doesn't always involve physicality. It is very mean to cut Medicaid or other programs for the poor. This is mean.
When you take something away from senior citizens and handicapped people that they really rely on for survival, when you take Medicare away, when you take Medicaid away, when you take away Social Security or SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income, when you take away, when you cut welfare for the poor and for the unemployed that can't find a job, and you cut these things, you know, things that the poor rely upon for survival, including cutting down on food stamps and, you know, not that they give you that much anyway, and everything. This is the meanest thing that a politician can do. This is pretty cruel.
This classic Scrooge.
Yeah, yeah. What did Jacob Marley tell Ebenezer Scrooge, or Scrooge repeated it? I don't know. I think it can. It's best that the poor die to decrease the surplus population of the planet.
Yeah, more for us.
Yeah, like more for us.
Calling the herd.
Yeah, like the Jesse Ventura episode where the doctor hiding out in Costa Rica says some head of state, some big shot from Washington said it is time to cull the herd. We need to cull the herd. They are using too much of our natural resources. The planet's natural resources belong to us, and they are using too much of our natural resources. She's talking about the little guy, you know, the poor, the masses. So, you know, then there was another show, the show that Jesse Ventura did about the aquifers and the drinking water supply that, let's say, T. Boone Pickens and Monsanto are trying to monopolize and control. And Jesse was saying that we found out that they spike bottled drinking water with something that makes the little people sterile.
Oh, man.
Sterile. It's on YouTube.
Sterile? I only drink bottled water.
They put something in there to make sure that your little scum guppies sink and do not swim. Sink to Davy Jones's locker.
Not that I have. Not that I have any progeny anyway.
No. Well, we don't need child support. We don't need any distraction from our agenda here at Newsletter Censored. But anyway, yeah, that's basically it. They spiked the drinking water. You're pert near ready anyway for your lunch, right? We're going to take a little break. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is getting ready for his lunch, and during his lunch, as he's chowing down, I will do promo. Greetings. We are back from break, and wouldn't you know, as soon as I come back from break, and the jerk outside is landscaping again. Before, dead silence. Isn't that the case? Isn't that the case? I'm really ready. Yeah, I know it's probably Satan doing this, sabotaging our message, but I like to go out there and really crack the person on the head with this shillelagh. It really pisses me off. Anything that undermines the professionalism of the show. Anyway, this gentleman next to me, of course you know because I say it every week. This is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile, which, by the way, you were right, your extension in lowercase. Usually I like to put the capital letter, at the beginning, but you have it all in lowercase. It is www.facebook.com/lowercase William dot J dot Eisen.
William J dot.
No, there's
no dot after
the internet always puts a dot between the first name and the middle initial.
No.
That's the proper way to do it.
No way.
You didn't put a dot? You didn't separate?
I didn't do that. That's Facebook doing that.
I'll double check. I'm almost sure.
Me.
Jabroni, I will double check because when I saw it, it was William.J.Eisenman. Okay, that's what they do.
No wonder nobody can find me.
Yahoo does it because they don't realize that there's a dot. I would use like, I always thought an underscore was representative of a space on the internet. Well, why did they go with the dot? Anyway, that's how it is. William J. Eisenman Facebook profile has the gallery, the watercolor art gallery of William J. Eisenman. Also, the Mega Life 21 MySpace profile, which is www.myspace.com/megalife21, and newslettercensored.com, www.newslettercensored. Well, now you can just type in newslettercensored.com and the browser goes right to it. Before you had to type in the HTTP.
IE would say, without putting the www dot, it would balk.
Yeah, now it's all fixed.
IE can't find it.
It's so stupid, I mean, Mozilla too, no problem. You just if you put in Newsletter Censored, all one word, newslettercensored.com, it automatically adds the HTTP with a hypertext protocol, colon, not the colon you take a shit out of, colon, colon.
And a triple W.
Double / triple W dot. It puts it in automatically. How wonderful, I guess the programmers are to arrange that for us. Anyway, if you go to newslettercensored.com, you will see the William J. Eisenman collection, also of fine watercolor art, but
not all of them.
Not all of them. So Facebook and Mega Life 21 MySpace profile are probably your best bets for seeing all of the watercolor art. Now, I want to show you the newest finished. I know I showed you this painting at the beginning, but I want to show you the newest finished painting. Let me put my shillelagh down. This is the newest painting, just finished, by William J. Eisenman. Watercolor art. This is a portrait of, what's her name again?
Dina.
Dina. a lady friend of William J. Eisenman. Her name is Dina, and Dina's from the Midwest, right?
Ohio.
Ohio, okay. That is Dina. You can see, you know, the eyes are very piercing, the green eyes. Everything, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty damn good. See, that is Dina. Signed by William J. Eisenman.
Sealed and not delivered yet.
And not delivered, but it will be scanned properly before you deliver it. And I hope that your friends and people that receive a painting, I hope they subscribe to the newsletter. Do you hear me out there? Okay. All right. Fine watercolor art. That is Dina. Finished. All right. Now, I know this painting is usually, you know, usually at the end of spring or the beginning of summer, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman gets all inspired to do these very pretty, vivid, abstract paintings.
Actually,
I like them. But I love this one.
They come about after I do a very laborious work.
Because
a very detailed work.
In other
I
words,
need some looseness, some freedom.
In other words, this is a cool down technique. Like when somebody does aerobics, they always do a cool down exercise to slow down their heart rate. To, you know, a cool down, like maybe walking slowly or slow bicycle riding. In this case, this is a cool down from a big project, which just happened to be Dina's portrait.
Yeah.
This is very pretty, but it just started. It's not done. See that? Watercolor abstract painting by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. Very rainforesty looking, very lush, tropical looking, with beautiful like forest green, I guess, and red and blue. It reminds me of a Central American rainforest, sort of. It's very pretty. Okay, but he just started it. It's not finished. So you jabronis out there that think this is finished, well, think again. He just started. Beautiful painting. I'm sure it will look very well on the internet. So, that's it. Now, time for the foundation. The foundation of our entire organization, the backbone of our entire organization, is Newsletter Censored. Newsletter Censored was founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It discusses the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. It is the type of information that you will never hear in the mainstream media or read in the mainstream press. It reveals the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? And it starts off with the political monologue, followed by, if there's room, the current news topics of tidbits, if there's room. And then it goes right to The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, and that will tell you what the Bible really says. What the Bible really says, and not what phony counterfeit Christian right-wingers, fundamentalists think the Bible says or lie. What the Bible really says. And at the end, we have Sexuality, a Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, PhD. Go to www.newslettercensored.com, click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. This is the best way to be a part of our organization. This is the backbone of our organization. You need Newsletter Censored in the end times. We are living in the end times. You need Newsletter Censored. You need Newsletter Censored to learn how to defeat a conservative in the end times. Okay, so get it now. Get your free annual subscription with your gift to support this work. All right. Now, it's about time.
It's about space.
It's about time. Who sang that song? The Eagles? Time keeps on slipping into the future? No?
Not the Eagles.
It wasn't the Eagles that sang that?
No. Eagles no sing that.
The Eagles did not sing that. I like that song. I like that new age music, that crazy music at the end. Time keeps on slipping. It had some social lyrics in there, you know, about the little guy. If you listen to it carefully, a lot of songs. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get the Bible because he wants to read something important.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah. Okay. It is very important and very applicable to this whole carol camping fiasco, this whole cuckoo camping fiasco about predicting when the end will be. Oh, by the way, a camera person, is everything okay? Is the all important red dot there on the upper left hand corner? Okay. Because this is very important. I want to make sure that we don't lose this. Now, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And I'm going to keep my shillelagh still while he reads this. This is what the Bible really says.
And what people should read instead of listening to people like Mr. Camping.
It's amazing how such a foolish, crazy, and possibly partially senile old man like him gets so much media attention. Well, you know why? Because he's wealthy, and he spent so much money to be on the radio and on cable TV 24/7. That's why the spotlight is on Harold Camping. I'm sure if he was some poor, unknown little minister in in suburban Oakland, California, and he wasn't wealthy, I'm sure no one will ever hear about Harold Camping's predictions.
Well, isn't that just the one of the better examples of the fact that the actual truth and those who are trying to bring the true message of the Bible to people around the world, as was commanded by God, the true gospel now, the gospel of the kingdom of God.
Right.
Not the gospel, the story of the birth, the death, and the resurrection of one named Jesus. That was not the gospel that Jesus came preaching. He came preaching the gospel, the good news of the kingdom of God. That's what he came preaching. But anyway, it seems that those who would try to preach that or tell people about it don't have the big megaphones that these Satan-driven people and liars. Well, what else are you going to call a person who will tell you that the world is going to end tomorrow and can go in the Bible and see just the opposite in there? What would you call a person that continued in that vein but a liar?
Yeah.
A liar. And who is the father of the lie?
Satan.
Satan. So anyway, I'm going to read the whole chapter here so that everything is continuous and the flow is proper and people get a good idea of what the chapter actually says. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to them, "See all these things? I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming, and the end of the age? The word translated world in that particular scripture is the Greek word aeon, which means age, not the world. And Jesus answered and said to them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and they shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that you not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in different places. So when a nation rises against the nations, you're talking about a world war. So World War III will be occurring before Jesus comes. All these are the beginning of the sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. They will kill you. So in other words, they're going to be killing true Christians. Not just any run-of-the-mill Christians, but the true Christians. They will deliver them up and kill them.
Martyr them? Martyr them?
Yep. And you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, of course, put that together with Timothy. You know,
that's right. Timothy.
Description of the end, how it will be in the end time.
How people will become colder and less compassionate and more selfish. No love, lack of love.
But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come. When you therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, and that is when Israel. Now we're speaking of the Israel of the Middle East.
Right.
When it is encompassed by armies, and that's what the desolation of the abomination of desolation is the king of the north, the beast, will be over there in the Middle East, and when he encompasses Jerusalem, the Israel, then stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of the house. So he's telling them, once you see those things happening, get the hell out of there fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't even go downstairs and get a bottle of water or something. Just get out of there. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight not be in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world and till this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. In other words, the armies, with their atomic and whatever weapons they're going to have, they have the ability to annihilate every human being on the face of the earth.
So
if Jesus allowed them to continue.
Yeah. And the only modern day weapon that has the capability of total annihilation would be nuclear warheads, right?
So in other words, they will be using in this World War III nuclear weapons.
Okay.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say to you, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible they would deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say to you, behold, he's in the desert, don't go. Behold, he's in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east, and shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Any of that happened last Saturday?
No.
No. And then shall appear in the sign the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. See, now that's what people call the rapture. Okay. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. And now, verse 36, very clear, English, here it is. But of that day and hour no man knows. No, not the angels of heaven, only my Father.
You heard it.
Now, what kind of, what kind of credence do you give people who say otherwise? And say that they get their tenets, their rules, their inspirations from the Bible. Impossible.
Well, you heard it,
Impossible.
viewers. You heard it right from the Bible itself. That even that alone proves that people like Harold Camping are false prophets, and they're wrong. So stop giving these people your hard-earned money. Make sure it goes directly to the charity of your choice, and make it a worthy one. And hopefully nobody will steal the money. That's another problem with charities. People are vile. Human race is vile. I mean, to have no conscience as to steal money that's meant to feed poor starving children or help the homeless, or I mean, It's been done. It's been done.
No kidding.
I know this politician in Colombia literally stole money meant to feed poor Colombian children, and he used it. He used the food that is supposed to go for these poor, starving Colombian children to feed his own livestock on his farm. He just took the money. People don't care. People don't care. People don't care. Like conservative, right-wing Republican politicians, like El Balloon Boy.
They just like to take money from the poor,
Chris Christie,
and give it to their rich.
Chris Christie.
And there's a verse in the Bible that says anybody who does that, don't give money to the rich. They have their consolation.
Yeah, he that oppresses the poor to increase his riches,
shall surely come to want.
And he who gives to the rich shall surely come to want.
Yeah.
That's the Proverbs.
But it just seems that, you know, people claim to say that they read the Bible and everything. They just gloss over these things.
Now there's another verse. He who makes haste to be rich shall not be innocent. Is that Proverbs also?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that applies to a lot of young Republican youths
fresh out of business
school who were given jobs during the Bush administration.
Yeah.
And they knew nothing, and that was why they were hired, because they were hired to destroy from within the agencies that they were hired for.
And they would sell out their own parents and grandparents to be successful. They're like whores. They're like prostitutes.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
What do you call the congressman or senator? I think it was congressman. He was home the other day, and he held a town hall meeting, and some woman got up and started reading the Riot Act to him about Medicare and health insurance and all that sort of stuff. And she said, well, why don't you give up your free health insurance while you're trying to take it from us? And I swear this is what he said. To the question of why don't you give up your
sacrifice?
Health insurance?
Why don't you make sacrifice? Yeah, what did he say?
He said, because it's free.
Well, it's not totally free because somebody's paying for it.
Yeah, but it's free to him.
Which means he don't give a shit. Which means he don't care about the people who do not have it.
He wants you to pay for your health insurance, but he don't want to pay for his.
In other words, you see the selfishness of this character?
Absolutely.
We're talking about Chris Christie.
It
right?
comes out. No, it wasn't Chris Christie.
Oh, not Chris Christie. Oh, okay.
It comes out all the time, and yet you have these poor slobs, these dupes, whatever you want to call them, vote for these people.
Hey, why do congressmen, senators, and many governors, why do they continue to get $175,000 a year with free health care and free pensions? Why? Because they can. Why does corporate America continue to outsource all of our jobs? Because they can.
And how about
havens?
How about their annual automatic raise every year?
Yeah, automatic.
Yeah, automatic.
To give themselves a raise.
Yeah.
So $175,000 is not good enough. They want raises every year. You know, and then offshore tax havens, not paying taxes. Because they can. They are allowed. Because they're allowed by the people that are in bed with them, right? The fat cats pay off the politicians and they fund their campaigns, and you know,
people who are on Social Security did not get raises for the last 2 years.
Yeah, there you go. People on a fixed income did not get a raise for the past 2 years. You heard it. No, people Social Security disability, SSI, they didn't get any raises. Of course, the rising cost of living does not apply to the poor, according to
well, they have the CPI is so
wealthy.
They fudge this thing so bad it's pathetic. They take out gas, they take out food, all these things that are rising like crazy, and then they come up with I believe it was, oh, it only rose like
bullshit.
0.01%.
So what you're saying, it's not up. They don't update it. They
don't want to update it because they don't want to spend money that way from the government. They want the money from if you're gonna spend government money, subsidize whatever.
And the military.
They want it to go to the people who already have money.
And the military,
well,
which has to do with corporate America again, companies that make weapons, right? So it always points towards giving taxpayers money to
those that already have.
To those that already have, the people on top.
Yeah.
The other fat cats and
the Mr. Monopolies.
Yeah.
You know Mr. Monopoly from the Monopoly game with the top hat.
Yeah, the guy on the Monopoly game with the tuxedo with the tails and the white gloves, whatever, and the top hat, carrying the big sack of money. Wasn't the political satire of J.P. Morgan like that also?
I think that's where they sort of
where they got
the game from. You know.
I think somebody
that sort of was the.
I think somebody should do a political satire of Chris Christie dressed like that.
They do. Mr. Margolis does every day in the Record.
Mr.
In fact, I think he's got a cartoon in there today with him.
Oh yeah, are you saving all the goodies?
No.
They're very funny though. It's sad, but they're funny.
Yeah, well, that's what they're for. But
yeah. All right, we have an article here on
Mr. Christie does not, other than in this never-ending universal theme that runs through Republicans, he doesn't interest me as an individual or something like that, just as the devil-led person that he is.
So I noticed that Chris Christie does not get under your skin, and you are not preoccupied with Chris Christie like I am. He gets my goat. His personality, his obnoxiousness, his rudeness, his lack of compassion, for the poor. I don't know why he doesn't get under your skin like he does me.
Well, because I have not heard yet whether in New Jersey we have recall or not, and then I wonder why, if we do have recall, why has it not been undertaken to get rid of him?
Well, more and more people are getting very angry with Chris Christie, and he doesn't seem to be acquiring new recruits lately. He's not. But the problem is, the people that voted for Chris Christie and the people that continue to say Chris Christie is just the best thing that ever happened to politics seem to be the same deluded idiots that follow Harold Camping, perhaps. People that avoid the real hard-hitting truth.
Look, it's clear that Christie. I'll give you something. Here's Christie. Christie claims to be a fiscal conservative. He's trying to save the state of New Jersey. All of this stuff, and but then you ask yourself, hey Chris, what about your driving record? You're a lousy driver.
It's because his belly gets in the way of the steering wheel.
Whatever, but he's got so many infractions. Nobody but myself ever brought it up during the campaign.
Yeah, why don't people bring it up? Why doesn't the Democrats? You see, this is the thing.
If a person cannot guide their own personal life, who the hell believes that they are going to be able to run a state?
True. Now you know that if John Corzine was the shoo-in to get reelected, if it was different, if the property tax issue was not there, that hurt John Corzine, which I happen to think it did. So if John Corzine, former governor of New Jersey, Democrat, was a shoo-in to get reelected, I would guarantee you that Republican Chris Christie would use the driving record thing. The Republicans will dig up any dirt possible on a Democrat just to get their agenda established, just so they can win.
Now, for instance,
they would do it. So why doesn't the Democrats do it?
Here's an example.
They don't fight. They're pussies.
Here's an example.
They got no balls.
Mr. Ed Schultz was suspended from MSNBC for a week for calling Laura Ingraham a talk slut.
Well, she probably wasn't really a slut. He was just, a talk slut, meaning...
But, wait a second.
Yeah.
Fox can use any filth, dastardly, disgusting language, insults. You see what they did with Obama. And nothing is ever done. But over here on the Democrat side, Keith Olbermann gave a couple of bucks to Democrats. Fox News gives $1 million to Republicans. That's okay. But Keith Olbermann has to get off MSNBC. The Democrats are weak-kneed in these areas. Now, Ed Schultz was accurate in his statement. She is nothing but a talk slut, Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
And she would use any kind of insult or something, against a Democrat. But he gets suspended.
Well, back in the old days, Jimmy the Greek Snyder was right about when he discussed the old days of slavery and how they did selective breeding and stuff back then. He basically told the truth. He wasn't degrading or insulting, but because it was, I guess, controversial at the time, and he was fired. But the thing is, look, if you tell the truth about somebody, it only makes sense that they should not be able to sue you for telling the truth if you could back it up. And you should not be fired for telling the truth, because if you're a real journalist or a true professional, isn't telling the truth what mainstream America should hear?
Should hear.
Should hear, in reality.
Yeah, but obviously they don't, because, like I said, Fox News, the right wing, the conservative elements, have all that stuff wrapped up. They can do anything they want.
Right.
But Democrats can't.
Yeah.
Or liberals can't. Progressives can't.
Progressives can't. Well, thank God here at Internet Talk Radio, we have no FCC control.
But for how long?
No corporate control.
But for how long?
You think I'm going to listen to a corporation in the FCC?
They want they want to do away.
Just try. Let them try to stifle James P. Madonna.
They want to do away with net neutrality.
Madonna. Like what?
They want to do away with net neutrality.
I'll give them neutrality.
They want corporate control.
Really? They might shut you up, but they're not going to shut me up.
They're going to try to shut everybody.
Well, you know what? Then they're going to have to take Internet Talk Radio channels and stations off the air. They're going to have They're going to have to eliminate livestream.com. They're going to have to eliminate youtube.com. They're going to have to eliminate any company that streams.
What happened to Google in
Talk
China?
Radio over the air?
What happened to Google in China?
They censor it, right? They monitor it.
Correct.
What
happened to Bob Dylan when he went to China?
Let me give you.
He couldn't sing his songs. His freedom song.
He's got a stupid voice anyway. I
don't care. It's not a matter of him or his personal whatever. It's a matter of the censorship.
Listen, I know for a fact that people in Hong Kong can listen to and have told me that they can hear loud and clear. Hong Kong, South Korea, the Philippines, Thailand can hear our internet talk show and watch our videos. But as soon as you go into mainland China, they cannot get our shows. Same thing with Cuba. They cannot get our shows. Venezuela cannot get our shows. Colombia, South America, on the other hand, can get our shows. So in other words, certain governments monitor what people can see and hear on the internet. I wonder how they do that. I wonder how they block something.
It's easy. It's easy.
How's it done? How do you think it's done?
Well, you have to be a programmer. You have to be, you know, involved in that stuff.
Yeah. If I was Google, I would tell these countries to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and then but Google wouldn't be in the country then.
Then
it's a business decision.
In other words, they can block the even wireless signals coming from a satellite. These countries can intercept wireless signals.
They do it now.
You figure wireless signals are in the air. They go to the satellite.
And if they can't stop it from the source,
yeah,
they'll stop it from the people being able to get it.
How do they know who's watching what in the privacy of their own home?
Well, hey.
How do they know?
You know, whatever they sell to them won't be able to do that. That's all.
All right.
I mean, you know, you got a cell phone, but the cell phone won't be able to do or have all the apps that maybe you would have in a free country.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that the corporations want to take over anything that is free, anything that is on the computer. They want you to pay for everything.
Oh, that's what Republicans would love, for you to pay out of pocket for everything. I say screw that.
If you went back to the 90s on the net, hardly anything was for pay.
Originally, originally there was no commercial on cable TV when it first came out.
That too.
In the 1980s.
That was the promise of cable TV.
I remember it well. In the 1980s, we moved somewhere, and guess what? The house was wired for cable, and guess what? It was still, we were getting free cable back then, because the people that lived there previously, I guess, did not bother to tell the cable company at that time, and you know, what the hell, and there was no commercials on cable, you know, and HBO was around and stuff like that, and hey, that's how it's supposed to be. The internet, well, the problem with the government providing free internet and Wi-Fi and everything to the people is that they will and can monitor it. I really don't like that. I think people should have the freedom to watch, let's say, pornography in the privacy of their own home. It's nobody's fucking business. It's no right-wing conservative politician's business what people see in their own home.
They think it is.
You know what?
And
fuck
once
them.
They get power,
they have no right to come into my house without a warrant.
Once they get power, what? What are you talking about? You got the USA Patriot Act. That's in there.
They want the right.
They just renewed it.
They want the right to finagle into your computer.
They just renewed the Patriot Act for 4 more years.
Right. So
that's what's in there.
So what does that mean? If they don't like what you watch,
you have no rights.
So what if you own the computer and it's in your house?
They can come in and they can get into your things whenever they want to.
So they have a right to steal your hard drive.
They have a right to. They have the right to take you to break into your house and search and seize it without a court order under the USA Patriot.
Sounds like fascism.
They have. Of course it is.
It sounds like. Don't interrupt me.
What do you think we were screaming and yelling for when Bush put it in effect?
Sounds like fascism.
Sounds like.
This is America?
It was America.
This is the America that you voted for last year when you voted in the Republican Congress, all you idiots, all you protesting Tea Party middle class boobs, you bubble-headed boobies, you unbelievable. This is what you voted for.
The USA Patriot Act is against the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, and yet it was renewed. That's the America you are living in.
I bet Jesse Ventura is furious about this Patriot Act. It doesn't sound like something Jesse would be for.
Well, Jesse's only one man.
I know.
There's 435 people in the Congress, plus a president.
He's one
who
man.
Could have vetoed it.
He's one man with an outstanding producer who got their show apparently pulled from True TV. So anyway, we have time for one last article. What do you have an article?
This is a longie.
But is it a goodie?
Well, I don't know. It's
well, they're not going to talk. They're not going to talk about crochet.
It's an informative one.
They're not going to talk about crocheting and needlepoint or some stupid subject like that.
No.
It's
quilting.
important, right?
No quilting. Yes. Every Sunday,
this guy sometimes.
The majestic cadences of the King James Bible resound in Her Majesty's Chapel Royal in London, in scattered parish churches in Britain, and in countless chapels, halls, and congregations around the world.
I hope it's not a snoozer, this article.
You may also hear it in a pub or on a street.
I like pubs.
The skin of my teeth, the root of the matter, and turn the world upside down, or listening to lyrics of Handel's Messiah. Still a bestseller. The King James Bible is being celebrated on its 400th anniversary.
Wow.
As a religious and literary landmark.
400 years old. The King. Hey, I'm not urinating, people. I'm pouring my antioxidant-rich tea. Green tea with mixed berries.
And formative, linguistic, and cultural influence on the English-speaking world. You don't have to be a believer to appreciate it. When Britain's most famous atheist, the evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins, read a chapter from the Book of Ruth for a YouTube Bible project, he said, "It is important that religion should not be allowed to hijack this cultural resource."
Huh. Oh, you know what? How forgetful of me.
Oh.
How forgetful of me. Gee whiz. Jeepers, Mr. Wilson. Remember it was a Dennis the Menace? Well, listen. Happy Memorial Day weekend, America. Memorial Day weekend of 2011. Guess what? Millions of people will be stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, breathing in carbon monoxide, poisoning for hours.
And paying almost $4 a gallon for gas.
And when they get to the Jersey Shore, they will be ripped off with astronomically high fees, like to pay to park your car, and cover charge to get on the beach, over $10 probably, and maybe over more than $5 for one hot dog, so on and so on and so on. You have to pay to change into your bathing suit. It's a ripoff. It's a scam. The Jersey Shore, even though very popular because of MTV's show, is a long-running scam. New Jersey is just very, in my opinion, very corrupt. It is, unfortunately, we are from there, and I think there's just too many lawyers and too many politicians and too much capitalism in this small hourglass-shaped state, the most densely populated state, and people get away with all kinds of shit. But when you leave the New Jersey, the beaches are free. That's the way they should be. Free. They belong to America.
The commons, the people.
Right.
Yeah, which mean nothing.
Which mean nothing. But anyway, this is what happens every year. People are in a hurry to get down there and sit in traffic and be ripped off. So, not me. All the roads and highways in northeastern New Jersey are desolate. All we need is rolling tumbleweeds. I have the roads to myself.
The celebrations may be tempered by a sense of loss.
Okay.
The decline of churches, a lack of awareness of the King James Bible's legacy, yet that legacy has more than fulfilled the goals set by its team of translators. Truly good Christian reader, we never thought from the beginning that we should need to make a new translation, nor yet to make of a bad one good. Make of a bad one a good one, but to make a good one better, or out of many good ones, one principal good one, the translators said in a preface to the first edition. Other translations may engage the mind, but the King James Version is the Bible of the heart. What King James had to do with it?
Yeah.
James the Sixth of Scotland,
Ah, their whiskey is outstanding.
who became King James I of England in 1603, took a keen interest in religion. James, in the estimation of historian Christopher Hills, was a learned man, shrewd and pedantic.
You know, I never had haggis. I always wanted to eat haggis.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Rather than original.
I eat head cheese. I eat blood sausage. I had some
How about Norwegian, Denmark,
lutefisk.
lungfish roe?
Oh, I like roe. I like eggs, huevo. I had some delicious Polish blood sausage, kashankas and kiszka the other day. Excellent on a charcoal grill. Excellent. I will be barbecue. You know what? I wonder if I might videotape. Nah, I don't know. I'll barbecue Sunday, but there's a bit of a problem at the location where I usually film the barbecuing by Mega Life 21. But if we overcome this problem, we might do a video. I'll have to see. Anyway, continue.
James summoned a conference to Hampton Court Palace, near London in 1604, hoping to thrash out differences between Church of England bishops and Puritans. Failing to make progress on other issues, Puritan leader John Reynolds proposed a new translation, and, as a contemporary account says, hereupon did His Majesty begin to bethink himself of the good that might ensue. The great work began. The translation, the Old Testament from the Hebrew, the New Testament from the Greek, was assembled by 47 translators in 6 committees working in London, Oxford, and Cambridge. And it emerged 7 years later at a propitious moment. English was in a particularly fluid state. Both the works of Shakespeare and the King James Bible appeared around this formative time and stamped their imprint on the newer forms of the language. The date, in 1611, when the first edition emerged from the press, is uncertain. Many celebrate the anniversary as May the 2nd, but it was a turning point. The king's printers had a monopoly on printing Bibles, and by 1650 the King James Version had driven the rival Geneva Bible out of the market. Jonathan Swift, writing in 1712, believed the King James Bible and the Book of Common Prayer, being perpetually read in churches, have proved a kind of standard for language.
Which one is the most accurate?
Especially to the common people.
Common people? Which one is the most accurate? That is the question.
I am persuaded that the translators of the Bible were masters of an English style much fitter for that work than any we see in our present writings. The King James Version more of a popularizer than an innovator in forming the English language. No other translation reached so many people. over so long a period as King James. And this probably explains why so many of its usages entered public consciousness. Siding with the bishops against the Puritans, the translators were instructed not to translate church as congregation. They were told to preserve as much as possible the text of the so-called Bishop's Bible of 1568, then the official English Bible. But they were permitted to consult William Tyndale's partial translation, Geneva, and some other versions, when they better agree with the text in Greek or Hebrew. Tyndale, who defied the law to publish an English New Testament in 1526, stands out as the genius. Anywhere from 75 to 90% of his work was incorporated in the King James Bible. Tyndale rendered Scripture in the common language of his time, aiming to make it accessible even to a humble plowboy. His version was based not on the Vulgate, the Latin translation, which had been the standard for Roman Catholics, but on the Hebrew and Greek manuscripts. In doing so, he defied an English law of 1401 which forbade the publication of any religious book without church permission.
Church meaning Catholic Church? Well, they wanted to control it. They wanted to manipulate it.
Tyndale went abroad while church authorities built bonfires outside St. Paul's Cathedral in London with copies of his New Testament translation. So they burnt his translation.
Really? They burnt it. Now, would you say the original King James version with all the these, thys, and thous is the first English translation of the Bible? The very first?
Yeah, that's
in English?
What it was.
Okay, gotcha.
He was arrested and convicted of heresy in the Netherlands and was strangled, and his body was burned in October 1536. Only a year later, King Henry VIII granted a license to complete the Bible, which included Tyndale's work, and his government urged every church to have an English Bible.
Now that song is going to roll around in my head. I'm King Henry. How's it go? I'm Henry VIII. I am.
I am. Henry VIII. I am. I am. On a to the widow next door. Sing and da time before and
Henry. Yeah, I know.
The spread of Bibles.
Happy Memorial Day weekend. Have some Yinling beer on me. I will be drinking my favorite beer. Yinling.
Of English Bibles.
Pottstown's best. Pottstown, Pennsylvania. America's oldest brewery.
Had a profound influence on Protestant English-speaking culture. It was not just that the Bible was read, heard, and known. The Bible in English made the individualistic act of reading and understanding primary, creating a culture wedded to the belief that understood words were the highest importance.
7 times before. Everybody was in.
Though many translations are now permitted in the Church of England, some parishes cling to the King James Bible. The scriptures may be available in dozens of languages at the click of a mouse, but legions of today's readers find more solemnity in it. For dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou return, than in the Good News Bible, where it is translated as, you were made of soil, and you will become soil again. At its best, the prose is timeless and transparent. Folk singer Pete Seeger took nearly all the words of turn, turn, turn from the King James Version's Ecclesiastes, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to live, a time to grow.
Great song.
Well, see that? He took it from...
Turn.
He wrote it all from the Bible.
The seasons, about the seasons. I'm not going to make fun of it. It was a great song.
The language makes you sit up and take notice.
You know, it's remember Hot Fun in the Summertime? Hot Fun in the Summertime. Was that Sly?
Sly.
Da, 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 da.
The readers were the mayor and the member of parliament, both of whom we would have thought to be well-educated men. But they both complained that the readings were obscure and difficult to understand. The Reverend Stephen Kerr prefers modern versions, but doesn't argue with those devoted to the King James. If that is the way God is speaking to them, I don't want to interfere, he said.
That is the conclusion, right?
That is the conclusion.
Okay, the King James Version. I know it's more difficult to understand than the modern American translated King James Version, but from what I understand, it is definitely more accurate to get the original Old English these, thys, and thous King James Version. And you must have a concordance. Is that true, Dr. Bill?
If you want to look up something, you need a concordance.
A concordance is very important. The Renaissance man Ken Create says he uses a concordance all the time, because if you look up a phrase, like let's say
Jesus wept,
the rich man or the poor, and you look it up, it gives you all the areas of the Bible where it mentions that phrase or word.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a safe Memorial Day weekend 2011, people. Don't drive drunk. Eat good. Be merry. And of course, nobody will treat Memorial Day weekend in the United States for the original reason they created Memorial Day weekend, which had to do with fallen soldiers, I believe, the dead. Yes. From America's wars. Yes. No, nobody thinks about them. Nobody mourns about them. They think about one thing only: an excuse to get drunk to the point where they puke. The drink and puke generation, like spring break.
Party. I want to party.
That's all they care about. They don't give a shit. Excuse to party. That's what Esmeralda told me in Colombia. Every holiday imaginable, even if it has nothing to do with them, they take the day off and they get drunk. They'll celebrate anything. Any excuse to call out sick from work. Anyway, say so long to everybody. Have a good one.
Hasta la vista.